Hello, my wonderful friends. Meg is here on a beautiful day. Today we're going to talk about books that make you feel good. And sometimes the world can seem kind of dark and ugly, but isn't it nice to know you can come somewhere like this and surround yourself with beautiful words and stories, and it just makes you feel like what a beautiful world we live in, that there's a world with these beautiful words and poetry that make us feel so good. And real quick, I got to thank all the new wonderful friends I've made. That video I put out, the 5 favorite books of all time. Oh my God, it was received with such love. I've got the sweetest comments and just friendships being made, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. So we're going to start in Anne of Green Gables. I think she'll make you see the world a little different. And then we're going to go to my all-time favorite, the picture of Dorian Gray. I'm going to save that for last. People always go, what is Magus's obsession with this book? I hope to show you, my friends, the magic that is inside of that book. And do you know, when you hold words of magic and light, it makes you magic and light. Listen to this. This is Anne of Green Gables. And I always talk about books that you don't just read them once and they're gone. They become a part of you. The stories and the ideas and the words, it becomes a part of you. You can see the world through that. And what a beautiful thing to see the world through Anne Shirley's eyes. And you know what? Real quick, I got to touch on this. If there's anyone in the world that should have been depressed and angry and bitter at life, it should have been Anne Shirley. She was treated poorly, brought up in an orphanage, my friends, but she didn't let the dark world dim her light. And then she ended up shining bright. She changed the whole town she lived in because she wouldn't be broken. My friends, she was a beautiful, beautiful light. Okay, so this is them coming home in the horse-drawn carriage. She says, "Oh, Mr. Cuthbert," she whispered, "that place we came through, that white place, what was it?" "Well, now you must mean the avenue," said Matthew after a few moments of profound reflection. "It is kind of a pretty place." "Pretty? Oh, pretty doesn't seem the right word to use, nor beautiful either. They don't go far enough. Oh, it was wonderful, wonderful. It's the first time I ever saw a thing that couldn't be improved upon by imagination. It just satisfied me here." And she put one of her hands to her breast. "It made a queer, funny ache, and yet it was a pleasant ache. Did you ever have an ache like that, Mr. Cuthbert?" "Well, now, I just can't recall that I ever had." "I have it lots of times, whenever I see anything royally beautiful. But they shouldn't call that lovely place the Avenue. There's no meaning in a name like that. They should call it, oh, let me see, the White Way of Delight. Isn't that a nice, imaginative name? When I don't like the name of a place or a person, I always imagine a new one and always think of them as so." Isn't it just beautiful? Can I read on a little bit? "And they had driven over the crest of a hill, and below them was a pond, looking almost like a river, so long and winding was it. A bridge spanned it midway, and from there to its lower end, where an amber-hued belt of sand hills shut it in from the dark blue gulf beyond, and the water was a glory of many shifting hues, the most spiritual shadings of crocus and rose and ethereal green and other elusive tintings for which no name has ever been found. Above the bridge, the pond ran up into fringing groves of fir and maple and lay all darkly translucent in their wavering shadows. Here and there, a wild plum leaned out from the bank like a white-clad girl tiptoeing to her own reflection. And from the marsh at the head of the pond came the clear, mournfully sweet chorus of frogs. There was a little gray house peering around a white apple orchard. And on a slope beyond, and although it was not yet quite dark, a light was shining from the window. That's Barry's Pond, said Matthew. Oh, I don't like that name either. I shall call it, let me see, the Lake of Shining Waters. Yes, that is the right name for it. I know because of the thrill. When I hit on a name that suits exactly it, it gives me a thrill. Do you see how she sees the world? My friend, she looks for the beauty in it. And there is beauty in the world if we will look for it. And now I save the best for last. Please grab your Bibles, the picture of Dorian Gray. Turn to chapter 14. Oscar Wilde says, "Youth smiles without any reason. It is one of its chiefest charms." Oh, that reminds me right there of Anne Shirley. He turned round and, leaning upon his elbow, began to sip his chocolate. The mellow November sun came streaming into the room. The sky was bright and there was a genial warmth in the air. It was almost like a morning in May. And so now here we see Dorian. He's laid out on the sofa and he's reading Gautier's poems. And he says how exquisite they were. As one read them, one seemed to be floating down the green waterways of the pink and pearl city, seated in a black gondola with silver prow and trailing curtains. The mere lines looked to him like those straight lines of turquoise blue that follow one as one pushes out to the Lido. And the sudden flashes of color reminded him of the gleam of the opal and iris-throated birds that flutter around the tall honeycombed campanile or stalk with such stately grace through the dim, dust-stained arcade. Leaning back with half-closed eyes, he kept saying over and over to himself, "Before a facade of rose on a marble staircase." And as he read Gautier, "The domes that are on the water dwell, pursue the melody in clear drawn cadence and swell like breast of love that sigh. My chains around a pillar cast I land before a fair and rosy pale facade at last upon a marble stair." Oh, my friends, the beauty in words. Let me find this real quick. I think this explains it perfectly. Yes, here it is. Look at this. "Lord Henry went out to the garden and found Dorian Gray burying his face in the great cool lilac blossoms, feverishly drinking in their perfume as if it had been wine. And he came close to him and put his hand on his shoulder. 'You are quite right to do that,' he murmured. 'Nothing can cure the soul but the senses, and nothing can cure the senses but the soul.'" Oh, so beautiful. The senses can cure the soul, right? You can go out and smell the flowers deeply. See, like Anne Shirley does, walk out into nature. But you can also, my friends, heal the senses with a soul. You can read beautiful words like this, and it makes you feel good. My friends, again, these books, these words, you don't just read them once. They become a part of you, my friends. And so we choose the good parts, the good words, and we hold that. And we hold our light. And we change this world with our light and our magic and our books. My friends, be blessed. And I love, love, love you.